determine how
repeat that.
okay. I think it depended on who you were, your station or whatever in life would determine whether or not you got resistance when you went to vote or registered to vote. I mean, you're going to ask someone that maybe even worked for you and you know that they don't read or write. You're going to ask them to read something. And if they can't, then they can't register. You know, I mean, you knew who to ask to do what.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure my aunt walked up and registered with no problem. I'm pretty sure of that. I can't see them asking her anything that she didn't already know.
Yeah.
I mean, I really can't. But I think, you know, a lot of people didn't. And we were in the country in a little small town. A lot of her generation didn't have an opportunity to go to school or get a lot of schooling. You know, so I think they probably may have had problems.
Okay.
Because I could hear him. Now, you know, when I was growing up, it's not like it is today. You didn't get in grown folks' business. So you didn't ask questions and you didn't contribute to conversations. You just kind of listened if you could and not get caught and pick up stuff. So you could hear them talking about maybe somebody not being able to register and maybe they would have to go with them to register to vote. So there had to be some resistance, but I don't know that it was on what bigger scale it was. But then if you just deny one person, it's wrong. Mm-hmm. As much as if you deny 100, so.
And let's get the record straight too. You know, a lot of perception is that people in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, that blacks were all sharecroppers. Can we talk a little bit about? It sounds like your family may have been middle class. What that was like?
I don't know that we're middle class. I mean, okay. I don't know that, but my grandfather owned his farm. Okay. My uncle and my father were tractor trailer drivers. They had their trucks. They drove their trucks. They leased through another company, but they had their own trucks. So we didn't sharecrop, but there was a lot of sharecropping going on. But everybody does not. So that's a misconception. There's a misconception. Used to be a misconception that people from the South weren't educated, and that's way wrong. Way wrong. I was in a household and in a school that knew that I would be going to college, that knew that everybody, you'd be going to college or you would come to work for the federal government or you would go into the military. And these are things that the teachers prepared you for. And you had, they gave you some black pride. I got a lot of black history taught to me in my school. Mm-hmm. And I got more than my kids got, way more than my kids got. So I don't know. Did you get any?
Oh, not until I started doing it on my own and
really
then got into college.
Really,
pretty much.
Well, we got a lot of it.
Yeah,
and it sometimes can be the teachers that you have. It was a very small school. It was from elementary school all the way to high school. Just one school. There was a building for the high school, and there was 2 buildings for the elementary school. And you had a plan, and it was just kind of unheard of that somebody wasn't prepared to do something when they graduated from high school.
Mm-hmm. So when did you come to Northern Virginia?
When I got married.
So, and you married a mortician?
Yes.
A prominent mortician in Northern Virginia?
Actually, no, I didn't. I married a parts supervisor at Lindsay Cadillac. That's who I married. Now, as time progressed, he went to school and became a mortician and all of that. But when I married him, that's not what he was.
So then he went to school.
Yes.
And we can say, what's the name of the funeral home that he was part of?
Baker Chairs.
which has
Funeral
been around
service.
forever in this area.
Yeah, yeah. It's been around for a very, very long time.
So, what year did you say you came to Northern Virginia?
1969.
So, what was now the Civil Rights Act has been passed. What are the changes that you see you're now in Northern Virginia versus North Carolina, good and bad? I'm sure there's both.
Yeah, every coin has two sides. And I'm going to say something that, and this is just my opinion. Now, the good thing about integrating the schools is that everybody can have a level playing field if they want it. You got to want it, though. It just doesn't automatically happen. You've got to work for it, and you've got to know you've got to work to have it. But I have always felt that my children went to school here in Northern Virginia, and they both graduated from Yorktown High School, which is supposed to be a very prominent high school. But you cannot tell me that I didn't get a better education than they did. There's no way. They might have had, guitar lessons. My school didn't have that. I took bag lunches to school. They had a cafeteria. But I got a better education. I got a better value put on my education than they did. I knew that my education was valuable. And I knew that I was smart. And I knew that I was worthy. And I knew that I was as good as anybody and better than most. And I knew that. They never got anything like that. And you've got to have something else. You've got to have it. I don't care how much chemistry you get. I don't care how much of anything you get. Somebody's got to help you put something in here to help you make it. And I don't think they didn't get any of that at school. And maybe that's not a school's role. But when I was in school, it was very much a part of the school's role. And that was what I walked out of that school knowing. I didn't think it. I knew that.
When you sit back and you think about black and white relationships are now just almost a blurred line. We can do pretty much, we can go to restaurants. African Americans can go to restaurants, hotels, whatever. What do you feel your legacy is in making that happen?
I think it's about the size of a pea. I don't think anybody, they're leaders, like there's Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all those. They're leaders. But I think it was just a step. My legacy is a step. That's all. But because it takes a lot of steps. Everybody just takes a lot of steps. I don't think that I did any great thing. And I didn't seek to do that. Somebody handed that to me. Mom said, get in the car. And I got in the car. Because I'm obedient. I was obedient. But, and it just, she gave me that. That was a gift. It was a gift. And she gave it to me. But I don't think I personally, by myself, did anything. Everything was collective. Everything is collective effort.
So now you went to college, and what was your career after you got out of college? What did you do vocationally or your career was?
When I went to Johnson C. Smith, I was a sociology major. But later, after I had my son, I went to Nova. And I got an associate's degree in what was called at that time data processing. I got into computers, and that's what I did until I retired.
And then your children let's talk about their career path.
My daughter is a psychiatrist. She has her own business. She's doing very well. My son is a mortician, and he has a degree in finance.
From Georgetown?
Yeah.
So they looked at their mother, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but to surmise it, I think they probably looked at their mother's courage and their father's courage, and that gave them a desire to even to go further. Would you say?
I think so. I hope so. I hope we had something to do with them. I think they always knew that something was expected of them. And I think that's something you have to let children know, is that something is expected. If they don't know anything is expected, then how do they know to do anything?
You think that's what your aunt did for you?
Oh, I know she did. I know she did.
Are there any other moments in the civil rights movement that you want to tell us about?
You know, when I went to Johnson C. Smith, they had a private school there, and it was white school, and the students came over to interview people who had participated in the movement some kind of way. And I can remember them being so uncomfortable hearing what you had to say. They were doing a project, and they came into the student union, and of course, they walked in just like they were supposed to be there. And they would come from table to table, because some people were, my roommate was from Springfield, Massachusetts. So,